Good afternoon. Welcome into this edition of Daily Cards Live, this August 19th edition of Cards Live. That's Bob Ramsey. I'm Matt Rocchio filling in for Joe Roddick. We're going to talk a little Cardinals baseball today as they start a three-game series against the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona. Obviously, big topic today is the way they capped off that sweep against the Rockies in brilliant fashion. Obviously, over pretty quickly. It ended up being 13-0. But the only thing we really want to talk about, though, is the four runs there in the middle. Obviously, Albert Pujols, the pinch hit grand slam, the first of his career, that very specific delineation. First of his career, his 690th career home run. Just an incredible moment. I loved the move by Ali Marmol overall. First of all, Rammer, how you doing today, and what did you think of that moment?
Doing great. I got to give credit to Dan McLaughlin, who kind of saw the situation developing. And I'm such a Brendan Donovan fan, and it didn't occur to me that Ali may make that move. But before the first two pitches were thrown to Albert, Dan kind of said, "Well, why not do it?" And I agree. Before the pitches, I go, "You know what? He's right. Why not do it? Here's a guy that's dominating left-hand pitchers. Why not?" Now, the result was over and above what anybody expected. That's where you kind of, to be reasonable, you have to kind of think about moves as they're happening, or in your mind preparing for those moves to be made. You can't just do results-oriented thinking. That's kind of a waste of time and pretty silly. But Danny Mac saw it coming, and he was right about that, and I agree with him. Now, not much more can be said on airwaves and in social media in the last 24 hours about Albert Pujols. I have really nothing more to add to that because it's been magnificent. What I loved most, though, is in that series, Lars Nootbaar, 5 walks. He was 7 of 13 on base in the series.
He was fantastic.
Brendan Donovan was 5 of 8 hitting in the series. And it's a thing I've been harping on for 6 weeks, a couple of months. Got to get somebody on base in front of the big boys.
Yep.
And with that happening at the top, you've got your two constants in Goldie and Nato. And then by Pujols being Pujols hitting 5th, now you've got a legitimate lineup that compares with just about everybody.
Yeah, it's hit, and like you said, Nolan Gorman again. He's been a big one. I mean, over the last 14 games or so, he's got an OPS around 1,000. So he's been hitting the ball. He's got 8 extra base hits in that stretch as well. He absolutely just torched one yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, he's hitting it. Dylan Carlson cooled off a little bit, but I mean, the way he had been hitting there for a while gave you a lot of confidence. I mean, I was said it before the trade deadline. This is an offense that, if it gets hot, is enough to win a World Series. And now, you get Jose Quintana, you get Jordan Montgomery. The way those guys are pitching, especially Jordan Montgomery, a sub-1 ERA, .54, 3-0 in his first 3 starts for the Cardinals. Wants to go a little bit longer, but pretty good results so far.
Yeah.
I mean, this offense, if you get Pujols, you get a guy like Newt Barfield, you get Gorman going even better than he was. Hell, Tyler O'Neill hits anything above his weight, that you're looking at a plus offense.
I've never spoken to Montgomery, but I loved what I saw in him 2 days ago, where one, he wasn't buying into the Maddox claw. He didn't want any part of that. He's out there for business. And he did not want to give the ball to Ali Marmol.
No.
I dig that.
Them's the rules, though. Sorry, kid.
Yeah, but I like it. I like the fact that it appears that he's got that kind of mentality. And I think Michaelis and Wainwright and Montgomery, I think that all kind of fits together attitudinally. Now, 3 starts in, the guy starts blowing up. Who knows what we'll think at that point. But 3 starts in, you love the results. But as much as the results, I dig the attitude.
And speaking of the pitching, I mean, it's been overshadowed because of the Pujols home run, but Adam Wainwright, 7 innings pitched,
Stud.
7 strikeouts, just an unbelievable game from him. The fact that they're
Yeah.
getting those kind of appearances from him, it's been unbelievable. Gives you a lot more confidence in the rotation when you have Jordan Montgomery and you have Adam Wainwright, and then obviously you still have a guy like Miles Michaelis. I mean, that's giving you a lot of confidence that in a playoff series, specifically a wild card series where you're at home, Miles Michaelis, Adam Wainwright, Jordan Montgomery, specifically Michaelis and Waino, better at home than they have been away this entire season. But those three, as your 1, 2, 3 in a wild card series, gives you a lot of confidence.
Yeah, it does. And as we kind of transition into talking about this weekend series in Phoenix, I don't think it's too early relative to looking ahead to the Cubs series, 5 games in 4 days, that it's time to start watching this bullpen now, because this is the thing that they're still trying to figure out, and balancing and maximizing what you have, dealing with the issues you have in the bullpen in this next stretch of 8 or 9 games is going to be absolutely critical. So let's, starting tonight, keep an eye on bullpen usage, using who, when. You're going to have to be a little more careful with your so-called good guys, the guys you use when you're ahead versus the guys you use when you're behind. And this is going to be a real challenge for Ali the next week.
Cardinals and Diamondbacks starting that 3-game series tonight, 8:40 p.m. because obviously they are in Arizona. They're from Chase Field. We do not yet have a lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals. We know that Miles Michaelis obviously will be on the hump, 9-9 with a 3.44 ERA. He's been a little bit troublesome. You know, we'd like to see a good start from him against a bad team just to kind of settle down. He's, has a 5, 6, maybe even I think it might be close to a 7 ERA since the All-Star break. So you like to see a strong start from Miles Michaelis tonight. Hopefully he can beat up on a pretty bad lineup overall. There's a lot of lefties in the lineup today, or potential lefties, I guess, here for the Diamondbacks. They got a switch hitter there at the bottom. Let's go through their lineup really quickly here. Leading off for them, Dalton Varsho playing center field, Emmanuel Rivera at second, Josh Rojas, their second baseman, a lefty, batting third, Christian Walker DHing. Jake McCarthy in right field batting fifth, Stone Garrett playing left field batting sixth, Sergio Alcantara third base, Carson Kelly, the former Cardinal, behind the plate batting eighth, and then Geraldo Perdomo, their shortstop, is there in the 9-hole. So some lefties in there, maybe give Michaelis some trouble. Overall, it's not a good Diamondbacks lineup, and they should beat up on it. And on the other side, we don't have the Cardinals lineup yet, but Tommy Henry, his 4th start of the season, the lefty, starting for the Diamondbacks. So I'm not sure where exactly it is, probably maybe in that 5-hole you were talking about earlier, but expect to see Albert Pujols in the lineup today for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Let me go back to their lineup. Let me step back one on talking about the Diamondbacks lineup. At home, they're capable of doing a little more damage. And the guy that's interesting to watch, even as recently as a few months ago, you kind of thought the Carson Kelly era might be dead. But lately he's been playing a lot, and they've been playing him all over the lineup, not in the field, but off. He hit leadoff the other day.
Yeah.
They're trying to, and he's
I like when bad teams try stuff.
Yeah. And, they made a commitment and a deal that Carson Kelly was going to be their catcher, and they're really trying to find a way to make it work. And I'm rooting for the guy. So let's see how he does this weekend. You mentioned Tommy Henry. Here's a kid that we don't know anything about. That's the first thing that's scary. He's a left-hander we don't know anything about. 2 things that are scary. His 2 starts on the road were not good. Mm-hmm. But they were sandwiched around a home start that was good. Is it such a small sample size that those things don't matter? Maybe. But it's something to keep an eye on, Tommy Henry. Then you got another left-hander tomorrow in Bumgarner before Merrill Kelly comes in on Sunday. Kelly, by the way, might be the most underrated starter in the league this year. You start to look at his stuff, and he's pretty good. Okay. So we'll see how that plays out when we talk about it on Monday. But talking about tonight's lineup for the Cardinals, if it were me, I'd probably keep keep Brendan Donovan in the lineup. I'm
Mhm.
a Brendan Donovan honk. He gets on base. I want on base guys. I think they'll go back to O'Neill, though, tonight against the left-hander.
Yeah.
It frustrates me, but I think that's the thing. I think you could go Edmund Carlson at the top. I think, based on recent history, they'll go Carlson O'Neill as the top two. And they'll probably have Pujols 5 and then on down through the lineup. But those would be my expectations.
Yeah, I like all of that. I mean, again, it's going to be tricky. It's a left you don't know anything about. I will say he did allow a homer the last time he was pitching in Chase Field, so
Yeah.
maybe there's some consistency there. 3 starts, 2 homers allowed so far. Maybe we see something there. It obviously at this point, every time there's a lefty, everyone's going to be thinking it. Every time that there's a lefty that comes out in the bullpen and there's a pinch hit situation, we're all going to be thinking it. It's completely reasonable and it's fun. It's added a completely different level to a division, run that kind of lost some of the steam when you saw the Brewers maybe weren't going to really try that hard. So it's just been a really great added aspect to it, and obviously yesterday was a big example of that.
Yeah, and so we're talking about Albert getting 8 or 9 at bats, or if the offense is really clicking, 10,
Ooh.
and then wouldn't be surprised. Cianelli now has so much confidence in Albert when he's swinging the bat well like he is to use him. You'd almost guarantee at least 1 at bat on Sunday against a lefty coming out of the bullpen.
Oh yeah, I mean if there's a lefty coming out of a bullpen, it's 100%er at this
Yeah.
point. It's an absolute lock. Unless it's deep in a game and for some weird way they're short on the bench and they can't pinch hit in a specific situation because of the whole DH. Maybe I'm not, maybe there's some very specific situations where it won't happen. But other than that, we're going to see Pujols a bunch this weekend. I think it's going to be awesome. I'd be shocked if he wasn't in the lineup today. And if he can just get, if he gets to 292, 293 in this next 10 days before the end of the month, it could really, I mean, that's kind of like, that's like the math, though. That's like the math you need to work for it to be possible. Is that he needs to get another 2 or so over the next week or so, and if he can get to 292, 293, and just be 7 out through September, that's plausible. And obviously, it's going to depend how many lefties he faces. But anytime we can get a weekend where he's facing 2 out of 3, I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching every second I can.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I love all the pomp and circumstance. But moreover, to me, it's always about winning. And so when he's playing like this, it makes the Cardinals better and gives them a better chance to win. When he's not playing because of ceremony, he's not playing because of his legacy. He's playing because he's helping the club win. And I think that's the important thing. And I promise you, he thinks that's the most important thing too.
Absolutely. By the way, there's somebody here watching the show, and I guarantee you they're saying, "Yeah, Merrill Kelly's amazing because he's been a steal for my fantasy team. 10-5 with a 2.81 ERA through 24 starts. He's got an ERA plus of 144. I mean, you're
good.
right. Merrill Kelly's absolutely killing it. So we'll talk about that, like you said, a little bit more on Monday. Tonight, obviously, the big thing, can Pujols get a home run? Can Miles Mikolas really settle down and get back to his pre-All-Star break form? That's going to be big for the Cardinals going forward. We'll talk about what happens over the weekend against the Diamondbacks on the other end of the weekend. Bob Ramsey, I hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for sitting in. You know I love talking to you about anything, including sports. So it's good to see you, buddy. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely. You have a great weekend as well. You'll be back here on Monday, I believe so, with Joe Roderick. This has been Daily Cards Live on ClaimsOnline.com. A big thank you to our sponsors, Montgomery St. Louis Acura. I have an appointment. Oh, there's the way to point. Montgomery St. Louis Acura. I have an appointment with them next Wednesday. Thank you so much for everything they do. Even if you haven't got your car, I didn't get my car at Montgomery St. Louis Acura, but I take it there to get maintenance. They take care of me every single time. They have so many open appointments. It's so easy to just go on their website, book it. They take care of you in the best possible way. They have a great waiting room with food and drinks. You can just sit there as your car gets taken care of, or they have a great service where they'll set you up with a car or a shuttle service to get you where you need to go while your car is getting worked on. They're the absolute best. And, of course, our sponsor as well, Royal Banks of Missouri.
Royal Banks, where better service means better banking in St. Louis and St. Charles. on the east side in Granite and Jerseyville, and 3 new branches in Northeast Missouri. And all of them give you the great service that you've become accustomed to for over half a century. Royal Banks of Missouri, where better service means better banking. Member FDIC, and equal housing lender.
There it is. Thank you so much, Rammer. You have a great day.
See you, buddy.
St. Louis Acura has almost 200 pre-owned vehicles in stock with inventory arriving daily and can offer the best trade-in value. While others raise their prices and fees, we choose to earn your repeat and referral business by not taking advantage of the current market situation. We invest in our team, becoming one of St. Louis's top places to work and fastest growing companies. St. Louis Acura remains committed to becoming better than ever for you. Located at Manchester and Mason Roads.